I believe that Bittensor is a sleeping giant. Now, even though Bittensor is not a small project by any means, I think sometimes people often underestimate its ceiling and capabilities. But I feel like I do understand it, which is why I believe that TAO, its native cryptocurrency, could hypothetically go to the price of $10,000 during this bull run. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. But here's the thing. When it comes to Bittensor, what two markets is it heavily focused on? AI and machine learning. Now, before I get into what specifically Bittensor is trying to do with AI and machine learning, I do want to explain how these markets actually have a lot of potential because, yes, a lot of the hype did die down when it comes to AI. And when it comes to machine learning, people oftentimes just ignore it. They think that it doesn't even exist. But of course, man, it does. And for the people out there that thinks Bittensor is caca, no, I disagree because these markets actually have a lot of potential, in my opinion. For instance, the AI market, aka the artificial intelligence market, according to something very reputable called Grandview Research, they predict that the AI market by 2030 is expected to be worth nearly $2 trillion. I mean, can you imagine that? That's insane. That's bigger than, a lot of countries' GDP. Keep in mind, the GDP of Canada back in 2022 was around $2 trillion. So yeah, this is kind of a very mind-blowing amount. Now, of course, it's not a fair comparison, but I just wanted to use this to showcase the scale of this number. Now, also on top of that, you take a look at the machine learning market. Now, I totally understand that it's actually a lot less its predicted potential than AI, but it's still amazing nonetheless, because think about this, right? The machine learning market, or should I say the global machine learning market, is expected to be worth over $200 billion by 2029, according to Fortune Business Insights. So yeah, that's insane. When you think about it, Bittensor, are they focused on random caca nonsense? Absolutely not. I mean, some people out there, they think that Bittensor, the name is corny. They're like, wow, this is all type of nonsense. But no, man. Sometimes they don't take a look at the fundamentals. But I have, of course, which is why I believe that this is a very special project. Again, they're focused on the right markets. Now, more specifically, what is Bittensor trying to do with AI and machine learning? And let me show you what I'm talking about. Bittensor is a decentralized blockchain network acting as a peer-to-peer ecosystem for creating, training, sharing, and trading AI and machine learning models. So yeah, that's what it's trying to do more specifically when it comes to AI and machine learning. But of course, there's more to that. For instance, it's a decentralized marketplace that brings together providers and consumers of machine learning algorithms and models. So yeah, that's a very good touch in my opinion. So when you take a look at Bittensor, it's pretty much a complete project. It's not too overly flashy, doesn't have the most fans, doesn't have the most hype. But in terms of what it's focused on, it's A+. Because think about this. Once the hype for AI jumps back in again, guess who's going to be there to catch the wave? It's going to be something like Bittensor. And I think Bittensor is in such a prime position to have such amazing future success. Because if you take a look at it, right, what is a better strategy? Chasing or anticipating? I think it's much better anticipating because, for instance, even as a real-life example, if I'm surfing in the ocean and I'm trying to chase a wave that's like 60 feet away, that's pretty difficult, pretty much impossible to do that. However, if I'm putting myself in a prime position to catch the wave, it's going to be much more easier. I'm going to have a better time. That's why I think that Bittensor really is in such a prime position. And they're not giving up. You got to take this into consideration. A lot of the projects out there that are heavily focused on AI, just a couple months ago, really, they're now just off into the abyss. The team kind of just stopped updating. They don't really care. Will they return when the market goes back up again in a good way? Maybe, but you never really know. But when it comes to Bittensor, all signs are indicating that they're still building. They're still thriving. They're not giving up. And this is what I like about it. This is a serious project. They're not focused on partnering with celebrities, actors, actresses, athletes. This is not what they do, man. They're focused on real deal markets like the AI market, for instance. Also the machine learning market. Now, the machine learning market never really got its credit because, even a couple months ago when everyone was hyped about AI, very rarely did I hear anyone say, hey, let's focus on projects that are focused on machine learning. No one ever really said that. So the wave hasn't really kicked into fifth gear yet. So when that wave does come, guess what's going to happen again? Bittensor is going to be in a prime position. And I really love that. This is the forward-thinking mindset that they have. They're focused on AI, which we all know could hypothetically be massive, even despite, a lot of the hype being down. But again, the genius is also being focused on machine learning, which a lot of people don't really focus on. But hey, once people really start focusing on machine learning, I think Bittensor could very well be one of those top-tier projects. I wouldn't say it's a top tier project as of right now, but it could very well be in the very near future. And I really can't wait. That's why I think Bittensor is a sleeping giant. Even though its native cryptocurrency called TAO is not a small cap by any means. But even despite that, some people may think that $10,000 is some crazy, pipe dream for TAO. They're like, oh man, this is crazy, this is insane. But is it really? If it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $70 billion. Yeah, that's not too bad, man. I mean, people like to think that, $70 billion, that's so much, all this. Keep in mind, Dogecoin reached over $80 billion in market cap. I mean, come on. Dogecoin isn't even the best meme coin out there. Now I get it. Back in 2021, there wasn't that many options. So people just FOMO'd into pretty much just SHIB and Doge. But even besides that, I think this, if anything, showcases how reaching over a $70 billion market cap in the world of cryptocurrencies, it doesn't seem like the standard is too high. It doesn't seem like the bar is too high, if you know what I mean. Now, even if we ignore this meme coin example, let's take this into consideration. At one point, BNB reached over $100 billion in market cap. And you got to ask yourself this question, is BNB better than this? Take this into consideration. Back in 2023, according to Crypto.com research, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. Is that great? Nah, I don't really think so. I mean, come on, the crypto space overall is massive. This is embarrassing. This is unacceptable. So if BNB can reach over $100 billion in market cap, TAO can at least reach around $70 billion? That's just my mentality. And of course, I'm not saying it's going to happen like today, because I can't just randomly demand TAO to pump right now or Bitcoin to go to 150,000 today. I can't do that. But what can I do? I can do the things I can control. Not giving up, being resilient, persistence, dollar cost averaging, anytime earned income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting, my patience, right? I can control those factors, but what I can't control is what happens to the price of TAO, 2 minutes, 2 hours. I can't do that, man. I mean, things move up and down in a very volatile fashion in the short term, which is why I don't focus on that, because a lot of people, they like to ask me, why don't you day trade, man? Why don't you use leverage? Why don't you swing trade? That's just not my style. I'm a simple guy. I'm a practical individual. That's the way I take a look at it. That's why I like practical techniques, practical strategies, much like dollar cost averaging, where I'm acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. That's what I like. That's my style. And that's what I'm going to continue to do with TAO, because at the price of $10,000, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I mean, again, the market cap wouldn't be unrealistic. And I think Bittensor is really one of the best projects out there, focused on amazing markets. No-brainer pick for me, really. And again, this type of stuff does take some time, because we've seen altcoins at a worst case scenario peaking around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, basically a year and a half. Now, you may be thinking, okay, when is it going to happen, though, as a worst-case scenario, based off of history? Now, that may very well happen October of next year, around that time, because we all know that the Bitcoin halving event happened back in April, so a year and a half after that is around October of 2025. But even if I have to wait till that long, why is it so bad? I mean, I don't know why people keep thinking there's some sort of doomsday or disaster. It's like, no, man. I mean, if I have more time to accumulate, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And also, on top of that, this does give Bitcoin a lot of room to prove itself, because you take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors, also how there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. That's over 500 million, by the way. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, there's billions upon billions of people in this world. What do you mean? This is not an impressive number. Well, it is when you put some perspective into it, because back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. So now we practically have double that amount. Could you imagine that? So again, that combined with the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors, Bitcoin can't go to the price of 100,000, 150,000. I think that's easy peasy, hypothetically speaking. But of course, it's going to take some time. Bitcoin did reach a new all-time high this year, having quite a big pullback actually right now. But I think around a year from right now, things could look so different. All I got to do is just stay patient, continue to believe, because if Bitcoin does reach 100,000, 150,000, altcoins, they're naturally going to go along with the ride. And can you imagine what happens to TAO at that point? $10,000 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm FOMOing right now because I don't want to FOMO later on. I don't want to FOMO when TAO's at the price of 5,000, 7,000. No, man, I don't want to do that. At that point, that's cruise control time for me. I want to stay busy right now so I don't have to do it later on. I like to keep things simple. And again, when a project is this amazing, and also on top of that, with a bull run potentially being that fantastic, TAO at the price of $10,000 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm very bullish on Bittensor. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.